Alright, what's up? Hello again, it's Garsen. This is Act 3, so right off the bat, there's some spoilers ahead. Get out now while you can. We're talking about clerics today, and I'm going to do a little demonstration. We're on the difficulty custom settings, but everything's basically honor mode difficulty. Let's back out for a second. We're going to go into a decent fight in Act 3, and we're going to show off a light domain cleric chart right here. We're level 11 with everybody. This party's pretty geared towards honor mode. Kind of makes everything kind of easy. So let's go ahead, give ourselves about 15 HP more. A little extra utility there. Let's dive into the fight. We got all of our resources reset with the short rest, and I think we're ready. Let's see how the fight goes. Ba-ba-da. Alright, Shadowheart. Face your fears. Never. Da-da-da. Got some good initiative going here. Alright. And Gale is up here. I think that's going to kind of screw with things, but it's alright. Let's go ahead, give ourselves haste potion for the girls. Okay. I don't know why it doesn't give it to Lae'zel, but whatever, it's not a big deal. Let's start off with Shart. She's gonna come over here with some guardian spirits. Oh yeah? Hell yeah. Try and hit me. Not happening. Not happening. Alright. Cool. And let's drop a nuke with the divine channel, or channel divinity, kaboom. Now everybody's got the orbs. Cool. Let's run up here, maybe finish some people off. How about we kick your butt? There we go. Come over here. This guy's kind of dangerous, right? Let's topple him. Okay, give him another strike. Oh, bam. And let's bring you a little closer. No? Okay. Let's get ready for the next round here. Good job. No sanctuary for you. Alright, so I'm gonna misty step up to safety. Or not. What are you doing, buddy? Okay. Well, at that point... Oh, perfect. Can't hit me. Alright, perfect. So in that case, we don't need to use that. Let's go ahead and start blasting. Pew pew. He's gone. Let's bite this guy. Nice. Let's get a little action surge going on here. Let's keep the opponents away. How about... No, not yet. Let's blast you. Woohoo! Alright. Move on. Uh-oh. Now while this is going on, sorry for over-explaining, but there's a lot of darkness users here. And so the light, this is kind of one of the best fights for a light domain cleric and radiant orbs here. Let's keep going. Get some extra damage in here. How about we slam a jamma you? Boop. Alright. And you're out of here. Kaboom. How about we shoot you too? Get another shot in. Nope. I guess we just missed nothing. Hit nothing right there. Happens. No. Not the grief. No. There we go. Keep walking into it. Beckoning darkness. Uh-oh. That's definitely not where you want to go. Alright. Let them take their turns. It's all good. No. Not life drain. Ah, darkness, huh? Okay. Darkness, a little dangerous in this fight, because if you're in darkness, you're blinded. They can see through it, and all these little guys, while they're weak, can drop some darkness on you. It's a pretty nasty little beckoning darkness or something. Bone chill makes it so you can't heal. We definitely don't want to get hit by that, right? Man, they're piling up. Kind of convenient, don't you think? So if they're really good with the darkness, huh? I wonder if that means they really hate the light. Looks like it's our turn again. Somebody just got burnt. Don't stand in the light, baby. Here we go again. Alright, let's enchant an item. Make this light. There we go. And why don't we come on over here? And now we'll get just about everybody in the light. How about this? Perfect. Wonderful. Look, we're just spreading the light. Let's give everybody a little bit of heals. There we go. Just keep it up. And let's get back to killing. How about you get out of my face? Oh wait, that's a Asterion. Shows how good I am at the game. Actually, we're gonna wholeness of body. Okay. And these little turds kind of need to die, don't they? How about... well, that one, huh? Oh, definitely you. Bye. No, said goodbye. Goodbye. Wasted a bit of a turn beating up our friend. My bad, Asterion. Can't hide when the light... oh. Alright. Well, in that case... can't shoot you, but we can finish just about everybody else off. Uh-oh, no more sanctuary. Still not enough to shoot you, so we'll kill you. And then we'll kill you. Or not. Come on. How about... who's weakened? Looks like we need a better vantage point. Alright, shoot that guy, Getting kind of screwed here. Oh, because, right. So whenever these guys die, they leave a little darkness, ironically. Okay, that's fine. So, finish you off. And anybody... wow, we're getting screwed on darkness over here. Bear with me. How about we just come over here? Now you're dead. And I can shoot you. And I can shoot you too. Kaboom. Alright. Much better. And let's drop a potion real quick. Oh, can't do that right now because we're bone chilled. True. Well, in that case... gonna take a haste potion. Gonna shoot many arrows. Boom, boom, boom. Or not. And how about Viconia? And wow, that is a convoluted path to just walk up there. That is great. Okay. Pathing's a little silly today, huh? Perfect. Much better. And you know what? Let's just finish you off. There we go. So, back it up a little bit. Alright. I think they're just about cooked. We got one more turn of haste on Shadowheart anyway, so. Oh no. Not bone chilled. Oh, beckoning. Yes, everybody get it just a little closer for the finale. I like that. Oh, no you don't. Shield that. Alright. Like I said, let's have a little destruction, shall we? Before I kill myself, I will go ahead and heal a little bit. And then I will drop some destruction. Eh, that's good enough. Woohoo! Alright. Let's go ahead and put Guardians back on. Oh, well, I got hurt. That's okay. She's already done her job. I think we can clean up now. Where's Viconia? Viconia, where are you? Got some splaining to do. Oh, she's gone. Well, tell you what, let's just go punch him. Go get him. Go get him. Come on. Go ahead, punch him. Bam. And you're dead. Oh yeah. We like the punches. Bam. Oh, I can't get over there. Oh no. Okay. That's fine with me. Goodbye. And is that the last one? No, I don't think so. But they're dead, and who else is around? Oh, you? Cool. Alright, there you go. Just a little demonstration. But we got a little bit more to cover in here. As always, I'm going to pop in, and I'm going to explain some things real quick. We'll try and speed run through it. But let's pop up some notes, shall we? Let's see, what do we got here first? So, let's say it's your first honor mode run. What should you run? I think my first, not for me, but my first recommendation for anybody is a Cleric. Definitely a Cleric for sure. And while there's a lot of good domains, it doesn't really matter. Light domain is what I recommend. You can probably see from the video. But all domains are good because Cleric is good, right? It's probably going to be the backbone of your team, and we're going to kind of go over mostly the light domain build I have right here with Shart. So let's take a look at her. What should we build for? Well, first off, you should probably build for High Wisdom because it gives you spell save DC and spell attack. So your Wisdom, this is level 11, late in Act 3, right? So you want to have very high spell save DC. Spell save DC, if you don't know, is just accuracy on your spells. Like if you look at a spell here, it says a dex save. It says I have 18 spell save on that. When we used our channel divinity, there was a constitution save. So based on the opponent's scores like dex or constitution, they will have these plus bonuses from whatever on the stat. So if it says it's going to save with con, that technically means my wisdom is going to be versus their constitution, right? There's a lot you get into that. That's not what this video is about. So some spells are based on that kind of accuracy, so to speak. Other spells are direct attacks that work very much like your accuracy of your bow or your weapon, right? So the higher you make your wisdom, the more accurate you are. Okay, so we'll just keep it basic and bare bones for now, right? Radiant Orbs is really good on a light cleric. We'll kind of go over it, but all I'm saying here is there's a couple pieces of gear that give you the Radiant Orb condition on your attacks. Radiant Orbs just effectively gives the opponent like less accuracy when they go to attack you. The more you stack it, you could see all those little light rays I had on the opponent. So the more you hit with radiant attacks and the more you're landing your spells accurately, the more you're likely landing extra radiant damage, which gives radiant orbs, and the radiant orbs makes it really hard for your party to get hit. Pretty cool. And then high spell save DC, we went over that, right? But specifically high spell DC, just to kind of go over it one more time, you want this high so that you can kind of hit, but we're not really going to build this towards later. I'll kind of do like a breakdown of how it goes through Act 1, 2, and 3. So let's get more into why a Cleric. Okay, well, speaking of Cleric generically, right, it's a really easy caster because you can swap your spells around, right? You just get all the spells, right? Let's just do a demonstration, right? Say I don't really want to use Contagion right now in this fight, so I want to go ahead and have Blade Barrier up. So now it's added right down here, and now I have access to Blade Barrier. It's still going to cost me a spell or whatever, spell slot or whatever, but I can change things on the fly as I need them. That's pretty good, especially if you're not used to casters or you're not big on casters. They get more powerful as the game goes on, but Cleric is just so easy to manage because you never have to swap things out when you're leveling up. You get to swap things based on, you just get all of them. And there's some exclusive spells that are just always on your list right here for being in that certain domain, right? Very easy to just deal with being a cleric. The next note I want to go over is it's not really a healer. Cleric, I guess in tabletop, everyone uses it as a healer. You can use it as a healer too in Baldur's Gate 3, but briefly, I just want to mention, try not to think of this character or class as like a healer. A healer is not the biggest thing, as you can see. I threw out a spell like Mass Healing Word, which would have been maybe a little better if I had like the Bless Ring or Temporary Boots. That's really good strategy early on, but anybody can be a healer if you just throw a potion at somebody, okay? Or if you stand in the potion that you threw earlier. Anybody can heal. Healing, if you have 1 HP, you can still be offensive and effective, right? So let's move on. There's tons of utility. Tons of utility. I don't have enough time to explain all of these. You could produce light. You could do a giant daylight, like for a fight like that where it specifically mattered. You can enhance ability. This gives advantage on checks and rolls. You can bless. This is amazing early game because you can give accuracy to your allies. You can save somebody with sanctuary. This effectively makes somebody invincible, right, for 10 turns. And there's no concentration cost to this. Guidance, we've been over this 100 times, but 1d4 to a lot of ability checks, can't beat it. We added aid at the beginning of the fight. We can heal. This is probably the most efficient way to heal as a cleric if you want to heal. You can heal during a fight with a bonus action. So heals that use bonus actions are actually really good, especially early on, and there's certain equipment that you can synergize with that. You can set up walls like Blade Barrier or Wall of Fire. This is crazy control. Crazy control, okay? You even have Fireball and all the other stuff, but like I said, combining Radiant Orbs with Spirit Guardians, adding that defensive capability, that's crazy. Then there's Silence. Silence is a very good ritual spell, doesn't cost any slots if you're not in combat. There's a lot of silly uses for this, but you'll have to learn them in time. So I just can't go over all of them, and then there's more in the spell book, I'm sure. Just look at it, like Feign or Death Ward and Freedom Movement, the list goes on. It's crazy. Okay, there is something to be said about undead utility. I don't really find it a big deal, but we'll go over it in Act 2 when I get there. Let's talk about good split of offense defense. I think the demo did a pretty good job explaining that, or like demonstrating that. You have a lot of offensive spells. You have a decent cantrip that everyone cries about. This is why I said get high save, like spell save DC, high spell accuracy, but this operates off of your spell save. You have a spell right from the first level, I think, Guiding Bolt. You can upgrade. Guiding Bolt is one of those spells that does scale with higher spell slots, adds more damage. This is going to be going off of your accuracy, attack accuracy. We've seen the amazing Spirit Guardians and how it can synergize with Radiant Orb. Radiance of Dawn, probably one of the few domains of Cleric that actually gives you something to do with your short rest channel divinity resource. Okay, Fireball is obviously very offensive, but a lot of what we were able to do with this build also provided a defensive boost. Defense in terms of healing as well, defense in terms of control. Sanctuary can save somebody's butt. Okay, so I think we've kind of pointed out pretty well that there's a good blend between offense and defense for this spellcaster that's not that hard to use. So you're proficient in wisdom throws. For a defensive trait, all I'm getting at here is when you invest into the stats, the higher you make that stat, the better it makes, you get an additional saving throw bonus there. And Cleric itself is proficient in saving throws, meaning it's kind of hard to hit us with any spell that operates off of wisdom, which is one of the most common things you can counter from enemies in the game. So that's a nice defensive benefit. Warding Flare, if you didn't see it there. So on reaction, if we go to the reactions tab, Warding Flare will impose disadvantage on an attacker. Later on, this upgrades to improved Warding Flare. So Warding Flare means I impose disadvantage on attacks with me. So once per turn, I get a reaction point, right? Right here, a reaction. And then basically early on, as a domain a light domain cleric, I get warding flare, which is pretty good defensive utility. Later on, I get to share it with my teammates. So instead of blowing this reaction to save my ass, I can save somebody else's ass, which you saw a few times in the video. Go watch it again. All right, so Radiant Orbs fit perfectly with the build, and they're a mixture of, for all my offensive capability, everybody hitting the circle would also get Radiant Orbs, which would make them have a harder time hitting me. Now, if you combo that with a warding flare, for a lot of critical hits that could screw your party up, you're doing damage, but you're also adding defensive value to your team. They're getting Radiant Orbs, which makes things harder to hit, but then warding flare from earlier is also imposing a disadvantage on that one hit you'd really not like to take, right? So Channel Divinity, we've kind of seen this, but on short rest, you can get, at this point, you can get 2 Channel Divinities per short rest. I love short rest resources. Okay, clerics don't really get good ones, so Light Domain also gets the awesome Radiance of Dawn, and you can see how massive this circle is. So just blow this all the time. Start the fight off strong. Obviously, with a haste potion, you can now cast Spirit Guardians, run up to everybody like I did, and then Radiance of Dawn them. And then next fight, you can just short rest and be ready to use it all over again. Cool. So everyone loves Spirit Guardians. I think you can see why, but the reason everyone loves Spirit Guardians is it's pretty brutal, right? You cast this on yourself, you walk into the people, they get hit, you just keep walking around the turn, which, as a small mention, you might want to increase your movement speed or have somebody with Long Strider on your team to add extra movement speed for that. You can just literally kill people by walking into them. Who doesn't love that? And then Sacred Flame and Guiding Bolt. Just a little caveat, like I mentioned earlier. Sacred Flame is commonly thought of as a bad cantrip, but then again, every cantrip sucks compared to Mr. Eldritch Blast over here. Nothing beats Eldritch Blast as a cantrip. Pew pew pew, okay? Just, nothing's gonna beat this, especially the way it stacks. We'll make a video about it, but Sacred Flame, if you're building a light cleric with Radiant Orbs, right? So Sacred Flame is at least a pretty decent cantrip that you can be conservative. Once you have high spell save DC, right? This guy, he has decent AC, right? Let's see. He has 16 AC. The fact that I'm getting an accurate 95% against him, and then I'll do 3d8 damage, 3 to 24 damage. Then I'll add more damage from the rings and all that stuff. I'm going to do a pretty good job at hitting someone, get a free attack in, and again, it has the defensive value from the Radiant Orbs, right? So, I guess I should break down real quick before we move on. Actually, I'll get into it with acts, right? So it's good from start to finish is what I really want to not gloss over. I don't like glossing over this topic. It's very important. So let me move this up for you a little bit easier to see, and we'll end the video. All right, so what do I mean by good from start to finish? Well, to make it simple, Act 1, you're going to really love having Guidance, Bless, and Sanctuary. So Guidance, as I said before, Guidance gives you a 1d4 on your accuracy. So early on in the game, accuracy is almost everything. Movement speed and accuracy. Just doing any damage is very much valued. Guidance is huge in controlling dialogue options, or we've seen in sleight of hand video I've made. Guidance, you're going to use this all game. And Sanctuary can really save you in a pinch. There's also some silly stuff you could do. Go watch the video with Shart, where I basically solo the entire Goblin camp with just Shart and Trickery Domain. You're able to just walk out of a situation if you wanted to. But yeah, in my opinion, you're going to really rely on that. There's also some equipment that you could use to maybe heal. But like I said, healing isn't that big of a deal. It's just how you use the tools that you're that are available to you. I should mention that the Luminous Armor is available in the Underdark and Act 1, so that's the first piece of gear you would want to get if you want to follow this build. Let's move on to Act 2. Act 2 is when this specific build would be getting into the whole Radiant Orb stuff. You would find the Callous Glow Ring. This is going to give you 2 more radiant damage every time something is illuminated, which works in conjunction with this ring. Every time you, anytime something is illuminated, by a light source, it also inflicts more radiant orbs, which then illuminates them and the surrounding area. So you're illuminating things and doing more damage when they're illuminated. These kind of work into each other. Radiant Orbs Glove is also in Act 2. So Radiant Orbs, just anytime you do radiant damage, you get more Radiant Orbs. So Radiant Orbs, Radiant Orbs, Radiant Orbs, and Radiant damage. Okay? Did you get the hint? You should use Radiant damage. Alright. So those 4 pieces of gear can be found in Act 2. If you want to go ahead and get this spear too, it's not that big of a deal. There's even a glaive that gives you radiant damage if you wanted to go more of a melee roll, but I digress. So light plays a huge role in Act 2. This is something just worth focusing on for just a second. You are in a dark area, a spooky dark area, for most of Act 2, if not all of it. So you kind of want to stay illuminated anyway. Most of your opponents really hate the dark, or really hate the light, and you kind of hate the dark because although I have dark vision on this character, if I'm blinded or the extreme darkness, we're in trouble, right? So lighting up the area, some enemies get debuffed when they have light area. It's just a nice synergy that happens to come along right when you're able to get all this gear anyway, dishing out radiant damage. I will make a little note though, be careful in the Shar Temple. Some enemies actually use your radiant damage against you. And then finally in Act 3, you can now really increase your accuracy with stuff like this hood that gives you 2 to spell save DC and spell attacks. You can get this amulet that does the same, 2 spell save DC. And what's cool about this is you get an additional per long rest, just one more use of your channel divinity, your Radiance of Dawn, right? Personally, if you're going through the stats from start to finish, for this build what I did is I got 14 dex. Since I knew I was going to use the luminous armor and it's medium armor, I'm only going to get 14 dex worth of not initiative, but armor class, okay? With a little bit of dex I get some extra initiative, so I opted for the Sentinel Shield and the Bow of Awareness that both give extra initiative. Initiative's a big deal. You can see in the demo, we were starting out at the beginning of the turn all the time, right? Otherwise, yeah, you're really just stacking wisdom. We're not really using our melee stats. I want to jump a little bit, be able to carry stuff. Dex for a little initiative, armor class, and maybe I'll use my weapon, although it would be my bow in that case. Constitution, try to keep it even stats there, and then just maybe keep int and charisma. Now, there's one more thing I kind of want to go over. Keep this video nice and long. Thanks for watching if you've reached this far. What about, you're asking me, what about the other domains, especially in honor mode? Is it worth running these? Okay, here's what I think. Maybe it's a hot take, but there's no bad cleric, okay? There's no bad clerics. There's many choices, especially when you're allowed to multi-class. There's some popular ones, but let me just highlight some of the few that I know. And I've used, obviously, the light cleric. That's my highest recommendation, just for ease of use and carrying you through honor mode, how scary it is. But let's take a look at 3 little custom clerics I made, all in the same run, right? They're sharing all the gear. I can't just give them all the best stuff. So with the light cleric we've seen on chart, let's look at a war cleric. A war cleric could be great for like arcane synergy, where you add your wisdom to your modifier. You can get extra strength throughout the game. You can run a halberd or a pole arm, and you can get sentinel, heavy armor, high AC without even wearing a shield or anything, right? And you could have something like polearm mastery. Where is it? Polearm mastery, where are you? Sentinel and polearm mastery, right? So sentinel weapon is a good choice for this, by the way. Halberds and polearms have longer reach. So when you use sentinel, something that comes into your range will be hit with a reaction attack, so it's a free attack, and if you hit them, they'll be stopped, so they can't move around. So it's very good defensive utility while having an extra hit. And then if I had polearm mastery and I could find it, but polearm mastery essentially, like if you get a hit with the polearm, right, you go for an attack, you don't normally have a second attack on cleric, so you could use your polearm mastery to get another extra hit with the butt of the weapon. And in terms of War Cleric, you do get a bonus utility right here. War Clerics get an extra attack. They're per long rest, which I think really should be short rest, but you can use your bonus action to do an extra attack almost as if you were a marshal. And then your channel divinity, you have some options here, like you can add more accuracy plus 10 to your attack roll. That's pretty good, right? For a cleric that's really emphasizing on using physical martial prowess, that's kind of a cool deal. Don't have it highlighted here, but let's just go into reactions. So on reaction, you can add another 1d8 to your slashing damage, or your weapon damage rather. It's physical. Okay, so War Cleric is a pretty good option too. You still have all the crazy utility of Cleric. Any Cleric's gonna have crazy utility. I think I've driven that home, right? Here's a cool idea. What if you use Trickery Domain with a Rogue, right? Or even a Shadow Monk, okay? And I don't even emphasize on Wisdom, even though I could. Maybe I want like this to be the face of my character. Has Charisma, 16 Charisma, with Intimidation as a skill, and Cleric comes with advantage on intimidation and performance checks, so that's a cool bonus. You're primarily going for dex, and for this rogue we went assassin, right? So we went for like a poison set. When you poison somebody, or when you heal, you get poison magical damage on your weapon. You whenever you poison somebody, or whenever you damage somebody with poison, you get the chance to poison them, as in the condition. And then when you poison somebody, you heal, and if you heal, it comes back to here and it rotates all around, right? Just a quick little idea. Run mage armor for extra AC. Dex gives you AC, right? So you have like this assassin, poison, trickery cleric, and all the cool utility that comes with clerics, especially trickery cleric, like disguise self. Then you get a little bonus damage, Divine Strike Poison at level 8 Cleric, and then you also get sneak attacks. And of course, if you ever played an Assassin, these are pretty deadly. The Assassin subclass of Rogue. I don't know. You don't always have to have the coolest or best combination. Maybe do something that's fun and original and see how things synergize, right? And this one is very popular, and I wouldn't really consider this a Cleric build, but 2 Storm Cleric and 9 Sorcerer. Sorcerer Cleric, Storm Sorcerer, Storm Cleric is a very well-known combination. It's mostly off of Sorcerer, but essentially you can max out the damage of lightning and thunder spells and blow people up. It's very cool. There's plenty of videos out there about it, but just to kind of demonstrate other uses for the different domains. Really, the world is your oyster when it comes to domains. I appreciate it if you've made it this far. There's so much more I could talk about clerics. I just wanted to demonstrate that if you were jumping into honor mode, my highest recommendation is maybe go for a light or even a war domain cleric. They're really easy to use. You'd be surprised how much utility and defense and offense you bring to the table. And yeah, if you got any more questions or recommendations, let me know. But until then, I'll check you in the next one. I appreciate you watching, as always.